Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have an extreme special guest today. You all should know her. She is an icon in this space. She's the queen of conversions and sales, Miss Lisa Sasevich. Hello, Lisa. How are you?
I'm great. Hello, Dr. Shanna. And I have to say, as much as it seems like I'm your special guest, we're actually flipping the script today. And even though this is your show, what if I make you my special guest? Because I feel like, you do such extraordinary work that it would be a disservice not to go a little bit deeper and let your own audience know more about what you do and why you do it. So, what
Oh,
do you think about that?
cute. I think that's a great idea, Lisa. You have been my mentor for a few months. I totally trust you. I have been watching you now for about maybe a year and a half and consuming your content. So you are the bomb.com. So absolutely, absolutely. I will fully take your recommendation,
All
as I
right.
always do.
I tell everybody, I didn't just come in here and decide this. We figured it out in advance. And one of the things that I recommend to my clients, which I have had the honor of having Dr. Shauna as a client of late, is that on your own podcast, make sure to feature yourself. I know I personally was guilty with my own podcast to interview all these other people, and I would forget that every once in a while it would be good to share what I'm up to. And Dr. Shawn is up to some amazing things, and I think it's just, she can't keep it all to herself. So I'm going to just take over for the next 20 or 30 minutes and ask her some questions so that she can, really dig deep and reveal what she's up to, how she helps people, who it's for, and give you some tips that you can immediately apply if you've even had the smallest thought about having your own event or adding events to your existing business. And these tips will also be valuable if you're already having an event and you really just want to up your game. So that's what we're up to. It was all pre-planned. And I'm going to start out right now, just, kind of asking an opening question, which is Dr. Shauna, how did you get started in, this magical space of helping people to attract people into their events and, create an event that not only delivers, but also helps to guide people into their next steps?
Great question. Great question. Yes, I actually got started in this space because just a little background information about me. I was initially a wedding planner, a local wedding planner, planning weddings, festivals, parades, and things like that. And my business at the time was feast and famine. One moment it was money, and then the next month it was like, oh my God. So that caused me to get a job. But as the universe aligns, and the universe, I believe, is God, I'll be very clear about that. But as the universe aligned, it caused me to look for a job. All right. So when I ended up getting the job, I worked with a business coach, which, mind you, Lisa, I had no idea what a business coach was. I answered the ad that says looking for an event manager, and I'm like, it was right up the street from me in Murrells Inlet. And I went in and I took the job, and there it was. So, what was a little distinct about me working with a business coach who had been, who made millions, is that the previous job I worked with events when I worked in my business was spending people's money. This job at that time was making people's money. So that was the shift. And that's how I got in this space. And millions of dollars later that I made for my clients, here I am.
I love that because I do think that traditionally when people think about an event, they just all they see is this big expense. And
Right.
it kind of brings me to my second question for you, which is, so you tipped us off a little bit. So what makes your events different from other event planning agencies? why you?
Why me? Well, here's why. As I stated before, I came from a background of events, and I understand the psychology of events, the science of events. And when I work with my clients, we're not just doing logistics. A lot of people think, hey, she's ordering coffee, she's aligning with the venue, and she's sending out letters. We do so much more. We focus on the sale. We focus on the buyer and we focus on the buyer psychology. So what we develop is what I have deemed a strategic experiential pipeline, which means that your clients get to experience you firsthand while they're in your pipeline. So I like to also deem it as a party in your pipeline. So while they're in your pipeline, they're having an experience. They get to experience you, your amazing content, and they connect with you. That, Lisa, as you know, is a dynamic formula for conversion.
So by the time people actually show up at an event, they're already connected. They've already had some experience with the host.
They have said their first yes. All we got to do as event strategists is get them to say yes again. So when they say yes, they bought your ticket, they said yes, okay, I want to see what she's about. I want to see what's going on with her or him. And at the event, that is where they're in a very, very opportune position to make a decision on whether or not they should proceed with you as their mentor, as their coach. Our job is as event strategists is to support our hosts to ensure that they say yes again.
Yeah, I love that. So the yeses are building. They're getting used to saying yes, and you
Yes.
actually have it as a conscious strategy. So
Conscious.
you worked for this business mentor,
Yes.
and you got to see the experience of like an event as an expense versus an event as a revenue generator. And after that was over, you're still doing it. Why are you doing it? What is your why?
Oh my goodness. When I work with that business mentor, she was amazing. She worked very hard, her and the team. We as a team, we worked hard, very, very rigorous. And I had an amazing transformative experience working with her. At one of the first events I've done with her, she made her offer, and I was standing at the back of the room. And when she made the offer, people were opting into the offer. They were coming to the back of the room. I stood there with my mouth wide open. My jaw was dropped to the ground as close to it possibly could because I was in an awe at how many lives were being changed. Not only the people who were going to the back of the room, but her life was being changed as well, i.e., her tax bracket. Okay. But with that being said, I became the Dr. Shanna as you see before you now, because I knew that I could take the gift that I have with events and transform lives. Those women and men in the room were able to say yes to themselves, yes to their next level, yes to their family fortune, yes to their kids' schooling, yes to any philanthropic effort. They had that power. They saw a way to where they could take their lives where they were at that point to an optimal level. That is why I do what I do.
I love it. So you're seeing the transformation for everybody involved, and you want to keep that going. And so, what are the things that you are doing, like getting into more of the nuts and bolts, to ensure that others that want to do this have a similar or comparable success at their own events?
Great question. Typically, well, previously I was working with my clients who were making $1 million or more at their events. So, and of course, Lisa, you know, you've made millions of dollars at your event as well. You know that it is a heavy lift, and it takes at least $250,000. It takes a massive team. So I was restricted to only working with a certain type of demographic. Okay. With that being said, we are now expanding our services to be able to train other coaches to get to that level. So we offer courses, intensives, and masterminds that will work with coaches who are wanting to at least get to their first high converting event. Not our first event, let me be clear, your first high converting event. So that's what we're doing right now. And I'm so excited because at that level, we're able to serve even more people. When I work with my clients one-on-one, I could do only less than 10 because the work is really rigorous because that's what it takes, as you know.
So now you can reach more people. You've got a
More
formula. You can help more people to be able to not just have an event, but really have a high converting event. What are some examples? Who should consider adding event to their business or turning their existing delivery event into a high converting event? Like, help us figure out of who's listening here, who should consider taking next steps.
right. Okay, if you are a coach, entrepreneur, speaker, or thought leader, and you are wanting to scale your business, you have an offer that you've sold at least 5 times, you have a following of maybe about at least 5,000 people, and you're wanting to serve more, those are the people that should add the sophistication of an events business model in their business, okay? Because you are ready and prepared to do that. And that's just the blanket kind of like average person. We have worked with people that had smaller audiences, that had extremely highly profitable events. We've had people that did not have an offer at all and turned out, at their event selling their $25,000, $50,000 event. I'm sorry, $25,000, $50,000 offer at their event. But I just want everyone to know that adding events to your model is a very sophisticated business model, which means sophisticated work, sophisticated money, sophisticated time, and sophisticated investment. So when you are at that level, even energetically, that's when you should look at, hey, let's host an event, even if it's 10 or 25 people.
Yeah, I've definitely seen events where people have had, 10 or 25 people and done, 50, $100,000 in sales. Sometimes the intimate events make more money because you can really hone in and give attention to people on a more personal level.
Absolutely, Lisa. And with the age of AI and the emergence of AI, people are really wanting to connect. We all get online and we're talking just like now. I'm talking with you online, but whenever I came out to your beautiful, beautiful home over on the West Coast, we really connected. And I'm like, oh my God, she's super cool for real, not just on YouTube, not just on YouTube videos. I like her. And so I invested at a deeper level at that point because initially I had just bought your course. But that's exactly the whole psychology and science of it. People are wanting to connect with coaches, entrepreneurs like yourself to work with you and really, really get the results. I mean, just walking away from you, Lisa, well, not really walking away because we just completed one of your programs that we're going to start back up another, but just working with you and having that level of completion, I feel like a better entrepreneur. And I want to publicly thank you for that, even though we're interviewing me right now. But I feel like I'm a much, much stronger entrepreneur.
Well, speaking of client success stories, which definitely you've been, an amazing client to work with, and you've developed things that offers that now can serve even more people. So I feel like, that we're lifting each other and everyone watching in that way. I know I got to hear about a lot of really great client success stories while we were working together of people that you have helped. And I'm wondering if there's anyone that comes to mind, because sometimes we can talk about it, but till we really get into a specific, it's hard for people to really wrap their head around what's possible. So, what are some of your recent client successes? What kind of business did they have? How did the doing their event contribute both to their revenue growth, but also, there's a personal growth aspect. Is anybody that comes to mind?
Absolutely. Just about all of my clients that I work with. And thank you for asking that question because I will admit I have not done a very good job letting people know what actually happens behind the scenes, BTS, what services that we do offer. And when we work with our clients one-on-one, as I said before, it is just not, it is not only logistics and mechanics. One thing that's very helpful to my clients who've had severe success is we take all of the logistics and mechanics off of their hands. They literally show up, report to the makeup artist that we actually booked. Okay. So they're not worrying about any of the details, any of the fires that we have to put out. But not only just on site, but beforehand, we are mapping out offers. We are looking at the market, segmenting, supporting with messaging, supporting with any market analysis, all of that. So because of that, the majority of my clients have had great success with getting to their numbers because we've gotten the right people inside of the room. And it's not always, Lisa, a lot of people. One of my largest success, which some of you may or may not know, is 30 people inside of the room and $1.375 million later. But there was a lot of things that happened behind the scenes, like testing the market, running the ads with the ads manager. Well, let me say supporting with that, supporting with the messaging, with ads, supporting with organic mapping out and getting the right people in the room, the people that will say yes.
That's
And
incredible. We call that about a $400,000 per head average.
right. I gotta let her know that. It was
30 people, right? The per head average, a little lesson for everybody is, you divide the total revenue by the number of people and you say, well, on an average per head, they spend over $400,000 each. Now that may have happened between two people, but it's a good number to track when you're having an event. And that is an extraordinary per head average,
Thank you. And I'll just add this, not only the taking the items off of their plate with all the logistics, but we also develop a portion of the event content that's absolutely immersive. So we come up with engagement ideas to help your attendees connect with the brand more, because when they connect with the brand more, they are going to want to work with you. They're going to fall in love with you and they want to work with you.
And having an event elevates you, right? Like even there's what happens during the event, but then there's really who you become and all of the post event now that you are your own stage holder. So there are so many things that you're mentioning that a lot of people don't realize. They're just looking at the cost and the revenue, but there's a whole elevation that happens, I think, for each one of us each time that we have our own stage. So
Absolutely.
that's why I'm a big fan of the event model as well. I do have one more question, but before I get to my final question around the mistakes that people, make when they're having their first event, I do want to ask for people that are listening that would like to learn more from you or be in contact with you. What are some ways that that they can connect with you after this interview? If they're really getting that, like, wow, you're someone I need to talk to see if and how you can help me further.
Absolutely. If you are interested in finding out more about how you can take your event to the next level, take your business to the next level, you could opt into my playbook. Okay, I have an event playbook it's totally complimentary. I'll put the link here for you and you can check it out and see how you could take your event to the next level.
Okay. And then what if somebody wants to talk to you directly, like they have something coming up?
Absolutely. If you want to talk to me directly, there's also a link for an event lab. You could definitely schedule some time with me so I can have my eyeballs on your event, do a quick event audit in our lab, and we could recommend what are the best next steps to make sure that you get to your rev goals. And when I say rev goals, I mean revenue goals. I got to make sure I don't talk too much jargon.
Revving it up with the
Love
right.
it.
All right, my final question, just so there's some, people can kind of take away some things to watch out for, because it takes a little more time to teach you what to do, but there's some things you could not do that could be helpful pretty quick. So, what would you say is the number one mistake that people make when they're having their first event?
Oh my goodness. The number one mistake that one can make is, drum roll, fanfare, is not have a plan to convert.
Hmm.
That is the number one mistake. If I have numbers right here on my green paper, so somebody stop quick. Look, we map out all of the numbers. We map out a plan to convert. That is our plan. Anytime we have an event, how do we convert? What do we convert? What does that look like? And that could look like looking at our numbers, metrics, looking at how many people you already have inside of your funnels. Are they the people that have the problem that you solve? And if they're not, who are the people that have the problem that you have a solution for? So we actually have a plan. Like, people think that we as event strategists, we have a plan to make sure everything looks absolutely gorgeous. No, 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 no. Well, we do have a plan for that. But just like I said, all of my flowers around here, they are faux, they're gorgeous. Nobody will buy your program because your event flowers are super cute or you have balloons. They will buy from you when you show that you have the solution to their problem, when you can help them get to the next level. Okay. And so that's what we do. We ensure that the people that are in the room have what they need to get to your event so they can see that you could support them. So there is a bona fide conversion plan. And I think that's the number one mistake. People sometimes have an event and say, okay, well, I'm working on this, that, and the other. Okay, who's in your room? Because literally, even before, when my clients have their events, and if their numbers are down, because sometimes the numbers are down, I will let them know, okay, this is how much money is in the room. This is how much money you are going to make with these people. And they're pretty much happy then. So short
Very cool.
answer, I have a plan.
Number one mistake is not having a plan for your conversion, right? Worrying too much about the decor and all the other things. To me, the analogy I like to use is it's sort of like people going to get married and they spend all this money on, what the menu is going to be and all this time on the decor and the bridesmaids' dresses. And they forget to really spend time on the thing that is the most important of all, which is the vows, right? Like that.
Right.
Truly, the wedding is designed to be witnesses to the vows, and everything else is frosting. And I think, you and I think alike with, events that are designed to take people on a bigger transformational path with an upsell is, the offer, knowing your conversion plan. That's like the vows, and everything else,
Right.
the shut off, the electricity could go down. And, we're still going to have a marriage if the vows are there, and we're still going to have a high converting event if the conversion plan is there. And Dr. Shanna has a specific formula for that. So just a reminder, you can go, depending where you're catching this interview, into the notes, into the comments, into the show notes, and you can opt in for her event playbook. And also, if you'd like to have a conversation with her directly about something you have coming up, you can find links there on how to schedule a conversation. So I just want to say, thank you for letting me flip the script with you today. As a fellow event expert, it really matters to me that.
Yes, fellow, you mean the queen of event expert.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
yes.
that's one of the reasons why I decided to, of course, um, sorry about that.
No worries.
So that's one of the reasons why I was excited about working with you, because you are the best of the best. And if I'm looking to be the best of the best and optimizing my business, I've got to learn from the best of the best. So, and Lisa Sasevich is she.
Well, thank you. It's really, really an honor. And, the thing that we both care about is that you all know this possibility, you consider it for yourself, and you reach out to get the structure and the help that you need. Because the thing we can tell you for sure is you're not the first person doing this. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. There is support, there is formulas. If you're looking at your event as an expense instead of an income generator, hopefully this interview helps you to see it in a different way. So thank you so much, Dr. Shanna, for having me as your guest, letting me interview you. And, we're both here for anything you might need regarding upcoming events or considering them. All right. Take
Absolutely.
care, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Lisa.